Hey guys, I'm Emily from Jones Design Company and you're watching Coffee Chat. This is a little show we do every once in a while that I talk about the things that if we were sitting face to face having coffee, maybe some of these things are what we would talk about. So I'm doing a thing called 40 by 40. I will turn 40 in October, and so I have 40 things on my list of things that I want to have done before I turn 40. It's been a really great way for me to set some goals and just do little things that maybe I would overlook. One of those things is bake bread. So it's been on my list of things to do for a couple of years. My cousin makes this amazing bread. It's true fermented sourdough bread, and it's supposed to be good for you even if you're gluten intolerant. So because it's using just the yeast naturally growing, and there's some chemical reaction that happens where it causes the gluten to become more tolerable for our guts, which seems to be such an issue going on right now. So not only is it actually good for you bread, but it tastes amazing. So I finally this summer, she was up here for a family thing, and so I talked to her and she gave me the link to where she got her recipe from and kind of her training. She went to a live workshop from this woman named Min Kim. I'll put a link to it. And so she learned from her, and then Lindsay, my cousin, was telling me about how I could get this ebook. So I bought the ebook. It's just, I don't know, probably 15 or so pages. I just printed it off, and it shows how to make sourdough starter just from scratch. So you use whole wheat rye flour and water, and you just let it kind of ferment naturally from the yeast and bacteria that's just in the air. So I started this probably last fall, and I failed completely at making sourdough starter. It either went to mold, or one time, I don't know, I probably forgot to feed it or something. So I didn't do a good job of creating the sourdough starter, and I gave up for maybe a month. And then I was talking to my father-in-law, who is a really good baker and chef, and he was like, sourdough starter is not hard to make, I'll just make you some. So of course he just made it like no problem. He did try to make it with rye flour to start it, and he said that he kind of had a hard time with that. So then he just went to like organic all-purpose flour, which is also fine, and it does create a starter. So he gave me at Christmas some of his starter. Here's what it looks like. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of disgusting. But so I just feed it like a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of water every day and mix it up, and it's been doing pretty well for the last couple of weeks. And then he shared with me his recipe for bread. It's kind of a rustic pugliese bread. He used to make it when Ryan and I were first dating. He would make like minestrone soup and this amazing bread, and I always loved it. So he shared that recipe with me, which I'll try to find the link. Otherwise, I just took a picture. He had it in a cookbook, and I just took a picture of it. So I'll try to share the picture that I have. But it's actually crazy simple. It's not a true sourdough bread, the one that I have been making. In fact, here's one. I just made this last weekend. So it's just kind of a rustic, crunchy bread. We already cut into it last night. My kids ate about half the loaf, but it has a good crust. This one, I actually used a little bit of whole wheat flour mixed in, and it was really good. It's soft and yummy, and it actually is not difficult to make. So I'll share that recipe, but one of the things that recipe says that you bake it on let's see, what's it called? Like a baking stone, which I don't have. The recipe for the sourdough bread says to use a Dutch oven, which is why I bought this like pretty green Dutch oven that I have. So the way that I've been making this bread is that you heat up your oven to 500 degrees with the Dutch oven in it. So it gets crazy hot, and it's in there for like 45 minutes. And then you put your bread into it, like just the dough, into that, cook it for like 20 minutes, change the temperature, take the lid off, cook it for another like 5 minutes, and then that's it. And it just makes it really soft, and it cooks fast. So on the sheet pan or on a baking stone, it should cook for about 45 minutes. So this actually cooks it a little bit faster, but I just love the crust on it and the flavor. So anyway, I've had a lot of questions over the last couple of days about what my recipe is. So the one that I've been making is more like a kind of French bread, or like an Italian pugliese bread, I think. What I would love to do is make a true fermented sourdough. So I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna give this one a try. It's just a little more high maintenance, and I think I can use the starter that I already have to make the sourdough. So that's coming up next. I will get it done. Anyway, many of you had questions about that. Also, I wanted to share a couple of things, my favorite presents that I got for Christmas. So another sister-in-law, I'm talking a lot about my family, but I do love them. Ryan's brother's wife, who we adore, she bought us children's books for Christmas. So this is the one that she bought for me, called All the Lost Things. And then she bought this for Ryan, What Do You Do with an Idea? And then on the inside she wrote like the most sweetest notes. But this one, called All the Lost Things, that she wrote for me, is about a little girl who finds all the lost things that have been lost in the world. She goes down into a manhole in the ground and she finds all the lost things, and a woman down there says she can have 5 of them to give to whoever she wants. So she chooses like a sense of humor for her grouchy teenage sister and eyesight for her grandpa or something. And then the last one that she chooses is hope, that she spreads around to everyone around in her town who's previously grouchy and who has lost hope, and then she spreads it around. Anyway, it is such a sweet book, and it was just so thoughtful of Jess to think of me and to give that one to me. And then for Ryan, it is also a perfect book for him. What Do You Do with an Idea? And it's just about a boy who has a small little idea, and kind of people make fun of that idea, but he just keeps letting it grow and grow and grow. And then finally at the end, that idea becomes big and it bursts forth. And we joke because Ryan almost every day will say, so I have an idea. He is such an idea person. So it was just so thoughtful. So I loved that thoughtfulness, and it makes me feel like I need to be giving children's books, not just to kids, but also to adults. I just adore them. Another thing that I got for Christmas that I love, also equally thoughtful, are leg warmers. When is the last time you wore leg warmers? I was like 10 maybe in ballet class, but my girlfriend Erica, who does bar class with me, she bought me some leg warmers, so I've been wearing them to class. But not only that, you don't have to just be like a ballet dancer or a bar class girl. I wore them the other day just around the house over top of leggings, and they kept me so warm and cozy, and they're adorable, I think. They have like let's see if I can show you. So they go like this, and there's like a little split right there for your heel to go through, so you can still do bar class in them. They're not gonna be slippery, or you can walk around the house. Anyway, I loved them. Speaking of warmth, the other thing that I've forgotten to tell you about all these times is that I turned into an old lady at about 8 o'clock. I sit on my very comfortable couch and I pull out my electric blanket. We keep it stored just like right behind our couch. There's a little space, so I keep the electric blanket in there. It's plugged in, and I just pull it out and put it on top of me almost every day. Whether I'm working or folding laundry, I'll have it on my lap, or doing like watching a movie or something. It's amazing. So I know that it has been freezing cold all around the country. Not that much here. It's just normal here. But if you are freezing cold and you need some warmth, electric blanket. I don't know the health impacts of sticking an electric blanket with all like the coils on you. It might not be great for you, but it sure keeps you warm. Okay, and then last thing that I wanted to ask you is, will you weigh in and tell me, do you have any good teenage parenting books? I haven't read a parenting book in years and years. You know, you read them when you're having a baby, or maybe when you're doing toddlers, and now I feel like we've been in a good zone, but now we're doing teenagers, and I don't know if I know how to raise teenagers. So we're not necessarily having any particular problems with our teenager. We only have one, close to almost having 2, but I just know that there's some great resources out there, and I just don't know what they are. So if you have any suggestions for, even if it's not a book, if it's like a blog that you read or a podcast you listen to or some sort of resource on how to raise teenagers, just to be responsible, loving, kind people in the world. Atlas, do you hear them? Over there shaking. Anyway, if you have any resources, I would totally appreciate it. So we just leave a comment with whatever you have. So thank you so much. I love doing these, and I know it's super one-sided of me just recording this in front of here, but I love that we can then chit-chat in the comments. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.